and gentlemen, welcome to Sonoma Raceway for the Fast Family Racing League National Series. Last week these guys drove at Daytona International Speedway. What a great race last week. But today they're going to be taking on a little bit of a different track, Chris. Sonoma Raceway. So what are in these guys' mind going from a super speedway to a road course like Sonoma?
It starts off with one word, and that word is brakes. You know, you're going to go from flying around at 200 miles per hour to now suddenly you have to be matching your braking points, making sure you're not running people over. Main thing is, at Daytona, you got to watch the other cars in front of you and see what they're doing. Here, you got to watch your own line and not get distracted.
Yeah, definitely. Brakes is going to be the key here tonight at Sonoma. Let's take a ride with some of these guys here. I'm going to take a ride with Danny here to show the fans at home how he drives around this track and what these drivers are going to have to go through tonight. But yeah, definitely. It was very interesting last week. You know, these guys were on top of each other quite, not literally, but figuratively. They were right behind each other, bump drafting and whatnot, and tonight they're going to be a little bit separated due to this road course.
Well, I think the separation is going to be a huge thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Okay. Sorry about cutting you off there, but separation is going to be a huge factor in the race. But at the same time, I feel like it can help a lot, actually, because there's going to be varying levels of skill. Unlike Daytona, where everyone's put together and it relies on the draft, Sonoma will give some drivers a little bit of error room in case they need to screw up. And in fact, one part of the track that I've noticed is significant is the carousel. In fact, if you go a little bit too quick, you could roll your car over. So I'm sure with a little bit of room between drivers, it can give them some time to get back on the track without causing pileup.
Yes, indeed, and you mentioned the fact of pileup tonight, Chris. They're going to be under a set of cautions known as road course cautions, which means that a caution will not fly unless either A, a huge wreck happens and it blocks up the track, or B, a driver takes incredible damage in a single car wreck or two cars, and they cannot run. And then a caution would come out. So definitely tonight, I believe it's going to be more of a green flag run. I mean, they're going 99 laps here, so definitely it doesn't seem like a long race, but it really is with how long this track is.
Yeah, that's a big thing about the track. The length really is going to be a big thing when it comes to this track, especially when it comes down to lower tires and stuff, because drivers are not going to be able to push their cars as hard as they normally would. Watching a few cars right now, actually extreme shocks. I think it's just cold tire jitters as well. I'm starting to pick up on that because drivers are really taking these turns wide, and I don't know if they just can't brake. And we do actually have a car spun out. I think that is the Magical Loaf. He got in at the hairpin turn with another car. I'm going to see who he is right now.
Tough break during qualifying too, because that's definitely not how you want to do a qualifying run here, spinning out.
He got in with Eagles Danny, the number 11 car. I didn't really see most of it. It seemed as Magical Loaf possibly pushed Danny out to the outside turn there. I think it could just be a brake lockout. That is another huge thing on this road course. If you do not lock up your brakes, you will be able to make fast times. But in the heat of the moment, it is very common for a driver to lock up those brakes. Heck, just ask Jimmy Johnson at the Roval.
Yeah, definitely. This is very interesting. Looking at the National Series schedule, I believe this is their first road course of the season. Is Sonoma. The trucks have already done their first road course. They went to the Roval. The Cup drivers, they did their road course. They went to,
I think it was Mid-Ohio that they went to.
Yeah, Mid-Ohio. So, definitely road courses are a thing in this league, and got to know how to handle them. Looking through these drivers, I know that you weren't with us last week, and by the way, thank you for stepping in to the commentary booth here.
Yeah, I wanted to try it out.
Can you really see from the way these guys are qualifying which driver could be a pick to win this race?
So far, I don't really think I can, mainly because of how split up they were at the start of the race, or at the start of the qualifying session. I feel like the true colors will fly once the green flag drops tonight.
Okay, there we go. So, definitely a mysterious pick. Mystery so far. But, looking at Mustang 501 going around the track, this is no easy road course. This one has a bunch of sharp turns, and it starts fairly at the beginning. When they go green, they're going to have to go up that long hill, and if you carry too much speed over that one, you may find yourself in the dust there, or the sand trap, which that could prove a deadly cause.
Yes, it can. A big thing with like other road courses, like if you look at Road America or Watkins Glen, they have runoff room in case if someone were to miss their braking point or push too hard. And the thing with Sonoma is the fact that you're pretty much bunched up there. At most, you can get 3 wide if you're lucky, and then everyone's going straight into the hill right next to there. So it's definitely going to be almost no mistakes first lap. Drivers really got to respect each other. And driver of the number 95 seems to like sitting next to the wine vineyards. He's pulled up onto the track after what I mentioned earlier. He drove too hard, and I saw his left rear tires completely let off the ground.
The one great feature about this track, and I kind of noticed it, that one turn that he just got done with, the 95, it looks like a stretch of highway, the way that they built that part of the track. I don't know if that's just NASCAR heat or if that's actually how the track looks, but one thing that I would like to mention is that, and I believe you tested it out yourself, you said that some of these road courses, they have some weird mechanics, if you're coming from a different type of racing game.
Yes, I'm a big Forza player, back before I switched over to NASCAR Heat. Now this is Road America, when I first picked up on it, but Sonoma also seems to fall from it too. Very different physics engines, which if you focus on one game, it'll never really be an issue for you. But I'm sure not all these drivers here focus on one game. I'm sure many of them are in leagues in many different games, so I'm sure the switch may be very difficult for them.
Yes, definitely. Here, as I believe qualifying is over with, everybody is slowing down. I believe they crossed the finish line here.
I believe so. I do not see a single car going above pace speed right now.
So, we are going to take a small break here, and we will see you when the green flag flies. Chris, did you get a invite to the race? I didn't get an invite. Okay. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back from a long extended commercial break. We are terribly sorry about that. We had to get a few kinks worked out. But we are back, and you know, coming to the first road course for these National Series guys, and I mentioned, you know, a week ago they were at Daytona. Two very different tracks, you know, and you know, you obviously said the difference between the two in qualifying, but is there any added pressure that that's gonna be put on these guys, you know, due to the fact that they just came from a relatively easy track?
I don't think it would be any kind of pressure coming from track to track. The main thing is I hope you practiced when you come to this track. If you did not, you would be in a very bad situation. Main thing is, though, that a couple of these turns act like the famous racetrack Monaco, where there's no passing room. It's just you gotta get in your line. Big part of the race that it's all about passing. Once you get that spot, the guy behind you is gonna have a difficult time passing you, and the whole point is hoping you can hold on to it and not get shoved off the track as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be an interesting thing to see once the race goes green flag, you know. How is these guys going to handle the first lap, you know? How many cars are going to be pushed off the track? Because, you know, like you said earlier, you know, most of the road courses are pretty forgiving for room on the track, you know, but Sonoma, not so much, you know. If you get off the track, you gotta shift down and get going again, it seems. So definitely something to see when this race goes green.
Indeed, it will be. Once again, as you said earlier, with the first lap, I can guarantee you the first three drivers will have no problem going through, because I'm sure the person on the inside lane will probably get the jump because they are the first. Second place will fall in right behind them, as when you get to the second turn, the turn goes right, so second place will automatically have the inside line, and third will be holding on to first, so I'm sure they will have no problem. But it's really the backfielders, because while everyone's there, that's when you want to be making your passes as well. But at the same time, with everyone there, one small screw-up doesn't take out one car, it takes out all of them.
Exactly. And once again, to re-mention the caution rules here tonight, we are under road course cautions. The road course caution system, which basically means if there is a big pile up and it blocks the track where the drivers are headed, then it's a caution. Caution will fly then, or if
Race is live.
Or if a car gets a lot of damage. As here we go, Sonoma Raceway.
We have been told the cars have pulled out of pit road. They are currently making their one lap around Sonoma, and green flag is going to be dropping very soon. We're setting up the stream to get straight to Sonoma.
Exactly, bear with us here.
Yeah, you know, stretching a cord across the entire United States to watch this race. It could be a little bit slow.
If anybody was wondering tonight, Slyjob is running Sonoma. He's a Cup driver.
Currently, Slyjob is in the lead, followed by the number 42. Bark is in the back, currently getting to his pace car spot. Thank you very much to Bark for being the pace car for tonight's race. Currently, Grim Joker decided to stick around in the back and not get caught up within the first few laps of chaotic mayhem that this track will be offering. So far, there's no real clear signs of cars getting together, which is actually a really good sign. Some cars have ride We're currently watching Magical Loaf on this hood cam. You can see the car of number 95 almost cut him off, but he's holding on tightly to his car. Once again, because this track is so forgiving, he's actually able to stay on the track without actually damaging his car in any way. Ooh, they get together. Driver Texas Spots has actually rammed into 5 drivers on the hairpin turn. Luckily, no one has called out a caution and no severe damage has been seen. However, Texas Spots does happen to have a little bit of damage on their front. He most likely locked up his cold tires.
Definitely something that is worth watching of this race as these guys go through the turns. You know, as we can see already, they've already single filed, and that's the one thing, except for a few cars in front of Texas Spots, but you know, most of them are single file. The leaders are an equal distance from each other, it seems, you know, so it will be interesting to see, you know, what these cars do when they're all bunched up and stuff like that, because like you said, this track does like to offer some mayhem.
Yes, it does. Currently on board with Nilla MG here, and he showed a clear example of what exactly I was talking about, the carousel turn. Hopefully this is fixed in NASCAR Heat 5. He took the carousel pretty wide there. He had the inside line, but his car actually had all 4 tires off the track.
Just switching through the cameras, the pace car driver is in his spot. Let's give him a shout out here. BarkX Ranger, thank you buddy for being the pace car. As Chris mentioned, he will be able to give us some good camera angles as they come from the front here. Here we go. We're going to ride on board with Slide Job.
We have a first pileup with car number 28, Upcountry Bullet. He is actually rammed into the pit road safety tires. He has severe damage in the rear end and the front end. Seems to be no other cars got caught up with him, only a little bit of trading paint from the car right next to him, so caution is not being reported on the track right now.
Definitely not a good start for Upcountry. Now to mention, Chris, this is actually the first to last race before the National Series playoffs. Next week they head to Kentucky. So you go from Daytona to Sonoma to Kentucky. That's a wide range of tracks there. But, you know, as this schedule goes on and as they get into the playoffs, you know, it's just going to get only tougher. And so how good of a run does some of these guys have to put on here tonight at Sonoma?
Road courses in general, they go like 2 ways. It's either you're good at them or you're not. I've never really seen a driver that's in the middle. Typically, it's always you got the good times or you got the bad times. So this is definitely a track that will either be make or break you in points.
Yeah, definitely. So this track is going to prove a shakeup, you know, to the playoff drivers. Or, well, not the playoff drivers, but the people that are in contention for the playoffs here. Austin Icon, I believe he is not in the race tonight. He may be. Let me check. No, I don't think he is. I don't. Oh, he is. Yep,
Austin
there he
Icon
is
in the race.
Yep. So the number 25 car of Austin Icon 42. He's already in the playoffs. He's already won a few races. Let's see here. I believe Extreme Shocks is already in the playoffs as he 2-wheels it coming off of that turn. Man, talk about up in the air. He was a bicycle, but in a NASCAR. That was incredible.
Yeah, I thought I was watching NASCAR here. Instead, I'm watching Stadium Truck Racing. Man, those cars love to throw their wheels in the air, man.
For real, but the number 8 car is in the playoffs. He's already locked in with a win this season. Nilla's looking pretty good in the playoffs. He's not locked in, I don't think, but he's definitely a contender. Magical Loaf is definitely a contender. Alec has not really had a good season. You know, last week he finished in the top 5, which was his first top 5. You know, that was at Daytona, but unfortunately, and he's probably gonna hate me for saying this on stream, but he integrated into the wall at Las Vegas.
That's a big word.
I don't know how he did it, but he did do it. So I guess if you want to learn how to combine and be one with the wall, that's the 95 there. As we got a battle going on here, we got 3 cars, about 4, battling it out. One's off the track, one's going into the turn, one missed the turn. The 98, don't know what happened there. The 18 of SGJMFP running smooth tonight at Sonoma. As we try to catch up with our leaders here, I believe it's still Slide Job in the lead. He's just pulling away. I mean, the second place car is nowhere near him, and you know, this shows the pure dominance of Slide Job at road courses. He's a pretty good road course racer. You know, last year he was doing pretty good at all the road courses, but he managed to not win a single one of them. So definitely a chip on his shoulder here as he races in the lead at Sonoma. I'm sorry. Yeah, I believe he's still in the lead. I believe he may be coming up on a car to be lapped.
Yes, he is. He's running a perfect line through the upper mountain portion. That was the area I was talking about earlier. It's just really hard to get to the area and pass somebody.
Definitely. Few updates to the league. Like I mentioned before, next week will be the final race before the playoffs for the National Series and the Summer League. The Cup Series at the moment will not be being streamed because of decisions made within the league to cut that series from the Summer League. But they will be returning back in the fall. The Truck Series, 4th of July weekend, they race at Michigan. You and me, Chris, are in that series. That should be a fun one. I believe you're fighting for the points lead in that series.
Yes, points and what's it called, the final race is that race right there. So it's a lot of pressure to have on your shoulder there when you go into Michigan. I'm sure all these drivers out here are going to feel the same thing next week.
Exactly, and so that is something to keep in mind of. And then after the playoffs, Chris, we'll be moving to NASCAR Heat 5, which comes out next week. Actually, a few days after our race at Michigan, if you're a pre-order buyer.
Yes, I have. I got the physical version, so I'm waiting for Amazon to send me my edition of the standard. I'm not a big Tony Stewart fan. I probably just made a few enemies there, but
Slide Job trouble.
Slide Job
he
saved
got a little bit in. Wow, that's incredible. Austin Icon just behind Slide Job. I don't know if Austin is a lap down or if he's the second place driver, but I mean, what a heck of a save by Slide Job. Man, I'm talking about
that's
NASCAR
one way to
Heat
pass,
5.
right?
I'm talking about NASCAR Heat 5, and this man is saving it. Oh, okay. So, with confirmation from the race control / pace car driver, Austin Icon is fighting Slide Job for a position here.
I don't know if dive bombing someone in the middle of the carousel counts as a pass, but I didn't hear no issues with that so far. No official has waved a black flag, so I think it's legal.
Yeah, I think what happened there, Slide just got a little bit loose, and he tried to get back on the track, and unfortunately, there was Austin right in his way.
Hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do for that point. And position's everything. You can't just sit there and let everyone pass you.
Definitely, as we get a beautiful look at that 25 car.
Yeah, the
As
rims
the
really
two
do
Chevy-
look good on that car.
Yes, it does. Two Chevys in the lead. Here we go. We got Nismo 350Z in the 40 car. Just behind Nilla in the 6. Eagles Danny on pit road. We may have our first engine expire of the day.
I will closely monitor Eagles and see if he pulls on out. And currently we have General Twinkie off the track right now. He lost control in the carousel. His left tires completely left the ground.
Alrighty. Good to get confirmation here. That's the one thing that's good about this. Oh, there's a car around. It's a 12 car, General Twinkie, like you mentioned before. He was still around, or either he went around again. Definitely a hard time here. We got The Price is Right. No, I'm not talking about the game show. The driver's name is The Price is Right.
Nah,
In
darn.
the 89 car, yeah. Maybe he can spin a wheel. Maybe he can win the first place prize, but
We do have
Danny
confirmation
did
that
lag
Eagles... I'll finish it.
blew an
We do have
engine.
confirmation that Eagles has blown an engine. We are waiting on a response back from the team to see what actually happened with their engine today. Unfortunately, they would have to leave this race.
Yeah. Tough break. It seemed like he was having a good qualifying run earlier, but another one bites the dust, as they say here at Sonoma. So here we go, going back up to the lead pack. That's the pace car. There we go. Now we're on the lead pack. The 88 car is Slide Job, and I tell you what, he's getting tightly contested by Austin Icon here. I mean, they are bumper to bumper, and if Slide Job makes a slight mistake, Austin may go for the pass. Here we go. Going into the final turn. Here we go. Austin, I believe, 2 Slide Jobs inside. No, he backed off a little bit. He couldn't do anything. Bad camera angle from the game. I couldn't quite see where Austin was.
We did have General Twinkie pulling earlier into the pits. Currently the reason is unknown, maybe tire issues or maybe an engine issue. He does
Yeah.
No, I didn't say anything. Now, a big thing with all the cars out here is they definitely do look like they have a lot more damage than they probably do when it comes to the drivers, because you see many drivers out here with destroyed hoods, destroyed rear ends. But I'm sure the cars handle just fine. I hope that's something they fix in Heat 5.
Yeah, hopefully, but you know, back to the updates of the league. The fall season will be on NASCAR Heat 5, and this is good news to commentators like us, and if you want to continue, Chris, with the commentating position, they are actually going to give us a position counter and a lap counter.
That sounds great to me.
Yeah, so right now, if we were on NASCAR Heat 5, it would say Slide Job in first place on whatever lap he was. Unfortunately, NASCAR Heat 4 does not have that ability. Why? Who knows, as Slide Job goes around the slowest part of the track, it seems, coming to the finish line, trying to get past that lap traffic with the 25 car right on his bumper. And he's been on his bumper for the past few laps.
I see some of the fastest drivers out here, they actually take their front bumpers off the course. You can see all the dirt spraying the air. I wonder if it actually gives them some quicker lap times out here. Instead of pushing on the rumble strip, actually letting their car guide off the track.
Who knows? And, you know, maybe that will be a question for post-race interviews. Stay tuned for that after the race. But here we go, the 88. This is the first stage, by the way, folks. Not trying to fool you into it being the final stage. But, 88 right now. Trying to fight for his position. Trying to keep it from Austin, who is trailing him right now.
I think if the 88 keeps the perfect line, Austin will not be able to catch him. Mainly because if he keeps that perfect line, as I said earlier, a lot of parts on the track has no room to pass. We have just gotten word that leader will actually be coming to pit road this time. Should be able to pass him. Never mind, looks like he'll be joining him in the pits.
And I believe the 12 car will get a lap back due to passing the leader on pit road.
Nismo comes in right behind them. I wonder if they're going for fuel or tires.
I would say fuel here. You would have to go for fuel since this would be somewhat of a fuel mileage race.
Now, when I race this track, I haven't raced it long enough to really see where the wear comes in. Is it, you know, your fuel's getting burnt away quickly, or is it your tires going away? Because it seems that every track seems to work different.
Definitely. While these drivers are on pit road, we'll see who comes out first. Maybe we can get to our pace car driver to get a good camera view.
Seems that 88 has gotten off the track first. Gets to keep his position.
Yes, indeed. Austin following behind. So not only does the 88 have a good handling car, but he has a fast pit crew too. So that's something to be wary of.
But the most important
as Austin
thing,
goes off the track.
I was just about to talk about that too. Important thing to watch out for all these drivers is when you come out of the pits with cold tires, you're not going to be able to run your normal line. And I think Austin just got a little experience with that, as I'm sure his cold tires were not warm enough to slow him down like they normally would.
Yeah, definitely. Taking a look at Extreme Shocks here, number 8, not quite sure what position he's in, but he's been running a smooth line around the track, just his car is just not that fast, it seems. Nowhere near to what our leaders are, but he is definitely a car to look out for, you know, when coming into pits and stuff like that. You know, strategy is a huge key here, and, you know,
Ooh, he seems to
as soon as I open my
corner.
mouth, yeah, as soon as I open my mouth, commentator curse again.
Commentator curse.
Oh man, as soon as I opened my mouth and I said he was having a good run, that happens. Anyways, we'll move on to the 6 car. He's running a good line so far. Hopefully the commentator curse does not strike again.
Gee, I sure hope he's got wood in that car. He needs to be knocking on that.
Yeah, definitely. As he goes up the hill and around. Going down the hill. Sonoma, home to the finest wine.
Indeed. We have just gotten where we are on lap 13 of 22 laps in this stage. So far, it's been a pretty calm stage. I think the drivers realize that, now is not the time to be making the really dangerous moves. It's just about keeping your car on the track, and not sustaining heavy damage. Loaf makes a perfect pass.
Definitely,
in
as we got a
95.
battle here. Yeah, I was about to go on that, but I think I was a little too late to the party.
I tell you, I hope they. What's it called? I have seen some gameplay with iRacing recently, and I absolutely love how they have an AI that will actually watch the cars and determine where the most interesting parts on the track is. I hope Heat 5 takes some inspiration from that, because I feel like that would be really helpful to us commentators to have the camera zooming out right when all the action happens.
Yeah, that is something. They did say that they were improving spectator mode, sorry. I don't know where spectation came from, but we're taking a ride with our leader again, Slide Job. He's just doing his thing. He's on a Sunday drive.
Hey, it means beautiful day. Sun's not blinding you in the eye. You got no one ahead of you. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to make these perfect laps. That's what Mr. Slide Job's doing.
Exactly. One of your known pro race car drivers.
Although we do have a cone out on the track. Hope we can get that situated during the stage caution. I do not want that going into anyone's grill.
No, that would that would prove costly for anybody that's driving this track. A cone can, believe it or not, kill your car.
That would be definitely an awkward situation. Explain to your crew chief why you had your car blow out in the middle of the track.
Oh, I just hit a cone. That would be not the strangest ways of killing your car. I mean,
I think it was 2012. Danica Patrick hit a cone. I think that ruined her splitter. I think he was doing the All-Star race as well. So. She hit a boot.
Yeah, at one of the road courses. She destroyed that boot, and it destroyed, I believe, her turning, or the part of the car that allows her to turn. Austin
should have got a Duluth Trading Co. boot.
Yeah, Austin is trying everything that he can right now to get past Slide Job, but it just ain't working with those perfect lines as they go down the highway of Sonoma back into the track.
Big part about this track is consistency. If you can't make consistent laps, I'm sure someone will find a way to get past you, but Slide Job seems to be completely consistent. As you can see, the driver behind him is looking for some way to get past him, but he can't find a single fault that he can use to his advantage.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry.
Hey, we got Monster Energy up here. You want a can?
Yeah. We are sponsored by Monster Energy. Wrong series, though. This is
Hey, if it's on the track, it's on the house.
Yeah, definitely. But hopefully you guys are enjoying at home of this colorful commentary.
Let's hope it doesn't get too colorful. Speaking of colors, we got a lot of different looking paint schemes out here on the track today. Really when you sit there and watch it, you start to admire what you see out there. Even some of the most basic paint schemes actually look the best out there.
Yeah, definitely.
I think he may need two. I think he needs two monsters. But we'll waiting to see what the truck series is going to do. Within our race chat, we've seen many patriotic paint schemes being shown, and we're going to see where it goes. Red, white, and blue is a big thing, but we've seen some people actually get creative by making their cars look after planes, and actually a few drivers have made their cars look similar to military flags and stuff. Just not the usual red, white, and blue that you normally see at 4th of July parties.
Yeah, definitely, and it shows, this league's interest in the birth of America, America's birthday, 4th of July. Um, how special is that? Obviously I'm a truck driver as well, but how special is that to race? Literally the day after the 4th of July.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think that's really good. I mean, you're going to spend the entire night launching off fireworks and drinking beer. Why would you want to wake up really early the next day and race? But who knows? If that's what you want to do for life, I think you should go straight ahead. I think I might do that myself.
Yeah, definitely. Kids, we're not expiring. But yeah, 88 of Slide Job is pulling away from this thing. Except he's not, because here comes Austin trying to get this lap around the Slide Job, but it's just not working. Austin does not have the car that Slide Job has, or is it more of, what you mentioned before with those lines?
I think it's honestly a mix between the two. But I think the lines are definitely the thing that will set you apart from all of it. See, General Twinkie, I think we have pulled off the track right now. I'm going to double check. Yes, General Twinkie has entered the pits. I wonder if he's pulling in for fuel, tires, or damage. Considering we pitted earlier, I think it may be for fuel and tires to get to the end of the stage.
Well, while we're in this little heated battle here of nothing really happening between the two leaders, why don't we look up some interesting Sonoma Raceway facts? I believe one of the facts, they actually changed the whole layout of this course. Have a chicane before?
They did not have a, well, when the track was first introduced to I'm sorry, I'm getting my words mixed up here. I think I need the monster. But
Yeah.
when the track was first introduced, it actually had a carousel, which that was the part I was mentioning earlier about the cars rolling over and you can't really go quick through. It was a big hit in the early days. Then when NASCAR started approaching more of these car tomorrow type vehicles and just big heavyweights, they decided to get rid of it to get more speed at Sonoma and try to get the cars more close together. And after a while, it just didn't stick. So they decided to bring back the carousel, to bring back some of the old fans who loved it when the carousels was still part of this track.
Very interesting. So they started with one way, they switched to another, and then they ultimately went back to the older version of the track. So I've heard some mixed feelings about it with the fans of NASCAR, but me personally, I haven't seen NASCAR race at Sonoma in a while, so that should be interesting once the real guys actually will be able to go back to Sonoma.
I tell you, the track, it's got some amazing camera views with that carousel. When the cars come rolling over that hill, it's really a good sight to behold. And I heard the driver say it's like driving a roller coaster. You go up, you drop down, and you go straight back up again. You take a really sharp right.
Yeah, definitely. And for fans at home that are wondering what these drivers are going through, we've done it multiple times, but we'll do it time and time again. Once our leader gets to the finish line, barring if this is not the final lap, not stage 1, but as he comes around the final turn here,
I'm currently switching to our leader.
we will...
It is not. He is still racing at full speed.
go on board with Slide Job here and just kind of talk, take us through this track, Chris. What Slide Job's going through here as he goes up this secondary hill, sorts.
So as he's going through this secondary turn here, it's mainly just staying to that right side and then flattening your car out and getting it straight to the left side. So you can make this turn that you just saw perfect. You want to get once again to the inside line. You want to be hugging the very inside of every single apex of every single turn. And what we just saw there was a prime example of what I was talking about earlier. You saw as the camera started to shake a little bit to the left as he started to get off the ground. When he gets onto here, this part's actually part of the drag strip. So it's just a straight shot. To this part right here, which you got to use your signs as your braking point. As you can see, there's no cones or any emergency warning. You'll turn right around with a really large square 180. Now you're just bobbing back and forth like a little slalom course. Just make sure your tires stick to these, what are those called? Rumble strips. You're gonna go all the way back down, and you're gonna approach these signs and tire barriers. And this is honestly where many drivers will screw up. They will either run it too hard or not enough. And then the hairpin turn, many drivers take it the different ways. Slide Job decided to hug the inside the entire way. Although most people say that the hot lap, best way to do it is stay on the outside, dive inside, outside. And then from rest of there, it's just stick to the inside line, and then you're going to go straight up the hill and start the entire lap over again.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, Slide Job, our leader, fighting through lap traffic. Let's see if we can find Austin. Austin is still right there with Slide Job. He hasn't really lost any ground on Slide Job. I mean, he kind of has. He's dealing with lap traffic of his own, but he's kind of been with him the whole race here, or for the whole first stage.
I think the big thing right now is we're not going to see that much action aside from passing a few final cars, mainly because drivers are getting, I'm sure some drivers have just gotten back to the track maybe and are actually kind of learning while they're out there. Some people, as I said earlier, game differences. I'm sure someone else has been doing a different racing game. They're trying to get back into the groove here. Or, you just don't want to be taking the risk right now. Damaging your car in stage 1 and throwing your chances of a race win is not really the best idea. I would definitely lose a few until I'll win the race.
Definitely. Austin having a little trouble with this lap car. Finally gets around him, but whoa, man, that was close. Between Austin and I can't quite tell who that driver was.
Pit road has been closed. The leaders are approaching their final lap.
Alrighty. Let's see if we have any interesting news from race control. Bark, anything happening in race control at the moment?
That's very good to hear.
Well, coming from race control, nothing really interesting is happening, but kind of a interesting point. Everybody but, I believe, one car is
currently watching. Austin actually has a good run on Slide Job right now. He got close the leader up. He was right there on his bumper through those turns. Now the question is, can Austin hold his line and stay close with Slide Job through the little solemn end here as they go down the Sonoma mountain, going into the final hairpin turn? If Austin can get that inside line and a perfect runoff, he could get the stage win.
And here he's trying for it, but oh!
I think he's got it. However, all 4 tires were off the track. I don't know if that is or isn't allowed.
Here we go. Austin will not be your stage winner. They got to go around one more lap.
Nope, that was it.
Oh, no, he did win the stage. My apologies. Wow. A stage from Slide Job. How about that, Chris?
I tell you, that's what you gotta wait for. You know, don't push your car out the entire time. You gotta find that one moment when they're not doing good, and that was that moment right there. He realized that not Arkham, Slide Job was not sticking to the. Yes, our driver Arkham down it. Slide Job left himself wide. We have gotten word that our pace car has had a little incident on the track. Driver is okay though.
Yes. Alrighty, we're gonna take a quick break before green of stage 2. We'll be right back from Sonoma Raceway.
Welcome back, race fans. We are currently getting ready to start stage 2. Cars are bunched up, green flag has been dropped, and drivers are now choosing their line as they're heading off into the very first turn. Some drivers are getting off the track right now. There's been no big pileup. All drivers have been actually able to hold on to their cars, which is a very good sign, especially when you're racing in a course like Sonoma. Had a little build-up back there, but all the cars have actually been able to go through the corner. A little bit of runoff, but no severe damage. You know, I was thinking this would be a situation where there would be a car that would lose control and wipe everyone out, but these drivers are showing they're there for a reason. Slide Job is coming in hard. He went to the outside, though, actually bumped a few drivers. But Slide Job is now running away with the win. Currently, Austin is in second place as well. Let's see if he can actually catch up to Slide Job and take first place and get a few laps under his belt for leading. So far, the hairpin turn is going to be our next big obstacle. We're seeing if any cars are going to come flying in, and a few do, actually. They do save it, however, so that is a good sign. We will not have any major this first lap. Say, if aside from the few runoffs, it would be a generally clean lap for all these drivers. Very proud. Watching in the back here, ooh, we got a car actually shoving another one off the track. I'm trying to see what number was shoved off. But it seems Grim Joker got the boot there after the driver right behind him failed to brake correctly, giving all the momentum to him. I'm sure it's got to build some tensions between him and the other driver. After all, that was probably a good lap for Grim Joker, and he just had to lose it because another driver lost his.
Definitely unfortunate for Joker. Sorry, I made my surprise entrance back here at Sonoma, but
welcome back.
That was definitely unfortunate offense, as it looks like they're going 3 wide behind Austin.
Yes, I'm watching that right now, and a car has lost it actually, right into the wall. No caution has been called. The race is still going to continue to stay green.
And once again, I believe Slide Job is your leader.
Yes, he is. And we do have a car around Texas. Driver number 14 has spun around. His car is currently stationary. We're waiting to see if he gets it going. Yes, he does. Engine does turn over. He's currently ghosted, so no happening with him right now. I think it's overall a clean little spin out.
Meanwhile, Slide Job is just booking it around this track. He said wouldn't want to be as he goes around this very long and interesting track.
You know, I think the problem right now is Austin got caught up in all that traffic back there. Just a lap ago, it was 6 cars right there battling with him, and Slide Job ran away. So I think it definitely slowed down Austin a lot, and that gave Slide Job a lot of time to put padding in case if he screws up. And if he drives just like he normally does, he probably will never need that padding anyway.
But you never know, stranger things have happened.
So one big thing that fans who have never been to Sonoma or know much about Sonoma probably should know is that Sonoma is, aside from being famous for the racetrack, is actually famous for being a winery. This is one of the few wine hills that was converted into a racetrack to help gain money for the winery nearby. And we do actually have a car on the wall right now. Number 95 is currently stuck in the wall. He's got his car in reverse and he will be saving it. Anyway, back to the winery though. To bring more promotion, as NASCAR got bigger and bigger, they decided to build this racetrack. And we had Indy, I think a few races of Formula One come here. It's been overall a great track for many, and it's just mainly known for its extreme changes in altitude, as you climb up a mountain and go straight back down to the base within one lap.
Yeah, that is very interesting. You know, Sonoma being a winery track.
We have Alec Baldwin driving number 95, stuck right before the finish line. Okay, he's gotten the car moving. Looks like he's suffering from severe damage, maybe engine troubles. He cannot get his car off the wall.
And there he goes.
Yeah, I
It
mistake
looks
that
like-
what's called Ford for a Camaro for a second with all that damage up front.
But definitely that car has a sad face on it, but it's going again.
You've just gotten word from the pace car that he actually came out of pit road, so we have had some streaming issues. He was not in the wall at all. And that probably could explain where that damage that shouldn't be on there is. The game's probably rendering damage for us.
NASCAR Heat 4, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, talk to Turn 10 Studios. I think they could really get some good pointers here.
As we circle through the field, a lot of these drivers just taking their time. You know, nothing really happening. Pace car has a great view of the race. Free admission. Slide job leads
Mustang
this thing with
501
nobody behind.
actually got off the track there for a second. He lost control in the carousel again to the side that will fight every single driver. Left tires.
So looking at the sides of the track, O'Reilly and Geico seem to be your sponsors of this track. Monster Energy as well. 15% or more on car insurance here at Sonoma.
See, I would need that at We've also gotten word about giant inflatable Toyotas around the track. Man, that's the kind of inflatable I want for my house during Christmas. You know, everyone's got their Santa Claus, Frosty the Snowman. I got my giant Toyota sign.
You're so gonna get Christmas.
Oh yeah, I know.
Slide job again. Just driving away. Normal Wednesday night for him. going around this track at Sonoma. Let's be real with you guys, ladies and gentlemen at home. There's not really action going on. Of course, as soon as I say that, they're too wide coming to the finish line.
You need to say that more often. Let's get this race popping.
Yeah, but road courses usually seem to not have a lot of action, so we're trying our best. And ladies and gentlemen, we will initiate a crank it up on our pace. I mean, not our pace car, our leader.
Actually, that wouldn't be that bad of a bad idea either.
Oh, number 12, problems. As the 89 car two-wheels it across the turn. As we have a car flipped over on my screen.
I do not see the car. I just went through the entire field.
Yeah, it was there and then it was not, unless I switched really quickly. Maybe it was the game rendering the pace car as stuck against the wall. 95 still having that damage on screen. Not sure if that's real damage or not. We got the 28 car here of Upcountry SG and the 18. Got General Twinkie doing his thing in the 12. We got the Price is Right. Hopefully the price is right for that 89 car. Right now, not doing too bad at Sonoma.
Well, Texas Spots has lost his car.
And
He's
the
backed it
14
right
just
out onto the
decided
track.
to
It's
take
probably not the best idea.
That car just took a right. As there are left and right turns here, but that wasn't one of them. Right.
You know, some say you got to go forward your path, but I don't think they meant it like that.
No. As we look at Sly Job again, our leader. Unfortunately for Sly Job, he's not in this series, so this really doesn't mean anything to him except for winning the race and padding his all-time
I think winning
win
means
list.
something anyway.
Yeah,
hey, win,
but
man.
you know.
I'm still 0-0.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for 0-1.
Sly Job actually raced last week at Daytona, but he lagged out. Hopefully that doesn't happen here. Oh man, I just, you know, Chris, looking at the signs around the track, we got big old tires.
Hey man, don't hate them tires. They're doing their job.
They're big old tires, them big old tires on Slide Job's car, just putting him around this track, as well as the 25 car. Two-wheeling it once again, off-roading a little bit. Now he's back on the track. 40 car
So I wonder,
Nismo.
wonder how much different Heat 5 will make the dirt. Because I'm sure dirt's not just pavement with effects, because that's how it acts in the game. If people who have not played this game, if you go through dirt, it will just be very slippery. You really won't lose speed. And just sprays dirt in this air. And I can tell you for a fact it's very different from how you actually race a car. So I would like to see if they would do anything with that. In fact, that could actually change some lines here, as I see many drivers actually go through the dirt as a way to go faster.
704 Games, if you're watching this stream, please pick up on these key points that we are laying down on the table.
I'm trying to remember the makers. They started with an E of games like 2011 and the Inside Line. They picked up right after EA. I thought they did a very good job. A few issues, one of them being their AI. Their AI would cause massive pileups every time they go into the pits. But I feel like they overall had a really good idea. And the surprising fact was, that they were actually supposed to be making these games until 2020, until 704 Games was bought by a billionaire. The name was changed. I cannot remember the original name. And they actually just pushed. I think it was. I don't remember. It starts with E and T. Anyway, so they actually got pushed out, and the game was handed right over to 704 Games. Technics. There we go. That is the name. But they didn't even listen to Technics, which I feel like if they listened to it, I'm sure we would have had a lot more quality gameplay by now.
Yeah, you know, we're not here to criticize the game, but we kind of are, because it took them 5 games to update their spectating mode. They should have already had a lap counter and a position ticker. But
well, let's find out. You know, Forza, they're guilty of spectator mode too. They didn't have a ticker until the very last update of Forza 6. So it's very clear that spectating is one of the least concerning things when it comes to a racing game.
yeah, definitely. But with help from leagues like us, you know, we've expressed this and they finally did it. So I kind of give us a little bit of credit. You know, I even texted 704 Games about it as the 40 runs over the 44. And they're having a little battle. Battle of the 40s. 44 and the 40.
I'm going to go open up the Twitch stream chat and see if we can get any of our viewers, if they want to talk NASCAR related things, mention some important keys about this race.
Yes, definitely. And maybe our pace car driver Bart can go into race control and ask them for some things to talk about.
Okay, fans watching, if you guys want to say anything, the chat is open. Please, of course, follow all Twitch rules, and we will definitely give you guys a shout out and talk about what you have suggested, or just generally wanted to say hi. And we'll definitely say hi back.
Yes, because we're not only here to commentate, we're here to socialize, as the number 88 socializes in the pit road. He stops to have a chat with his crew chief as they're changing his tires and possibly putting some fuel in the car. The 8 does the same thing.
Aside from a little bit of splitter damage, which I'm sure they don't have coded into the game, I don't think there's any need for most of these drivers to go into the pits for repairs. I've seen mostly clean lines.
No, and the 88 gets off first. There's a surprise there. As if you hear booms in my background, it's annoying neighbors with their fireworks.
No, they're not annoying. They're celebrating early. Man, I wish my neighbors were that fun.
A little fun fact here, Slyjob won Eldora, and now he's leading Sonoma. This is a little concerning for us truck drivers, Chris, because Martinsville is the first track of the playoffs, and he's there too.
Now that Kyle Busch rule, as much as you love it, I'm sure everyone else is gonna hate it.
Yeah. If you want to hit up our league, you can go to facebook.com/FamilyFastRacingLeague or Fast
Okay,
Family
so
Racing
we've
League,
gotten a statement by Haskell. He says that the Sonoma wine gives him some problems, and that's the only thing we've gotten so far.
What type of problems, Haskell, does it give you? Please be very clean.
We'll just say the tailpipe isn't very clean.
Yeah. So,
I see. Opening up the chat room's working very nice.
Yes. Please keep it to racing-related things.
Yeah, I think we covered that up pretty well.
Yeah. As the 88 goes for a ride, man, jumping the dirt turn. You know what? You gotta have a little bit of fun being the leader, don't you?
I don't know. You know, if fun means risking my win, I think I'll stay boring.
Good point.
You so tired or fired?
The 44 is chasing down Austin Con right now. We have a heated battle for 44. You want to take a look at this, Chris?
I'm taking a look at it right now. The question is right now, who's going to screw up? I mean, that's plain and simple. If they can hold their lines with no problem, right, it's going to be like this for the next few laps. But if someone generally loses their control of their car, like 44, he missed his braking zone, went right up the track into the tire barrier. Darn shame. It was actually getting really good.
Pulled off of Denny Hamlin, except for at Sonoma.
Shout out to the tires, though, man. They saved his car, and they're doing their job pretty well. And I say that's a safety technology that's working out pretty well for the drivers.
Because these drivers totally put their lives on the line racing at Sonoma.
Okay, we have gotten some word saying that they would like to see more of the battle with Nismo. This may be late, but I'm going to go switch over and see how the battle is going.
Looks like,
I think we may have missed the battle.
but this may become a battle. Maybe not. Sorry, folks.
Well,
didn't get there in time.
Well, who knows? You know, with Austin was able to catch all the way back up the slide job. So maybe, just maybe, we'll have a battle in a few laps.
It just shows how beautiful. As we got two cars around in the dirt, couldn't quite catch who they were.
Currently have no word of a caution. So I'm sure they saved their cars with no need for having the full course caution be called out.
And like we mentioned earlier, not a lot of cautions are going to happen tonight due to the road course caution rules.
But then, generally, I'm sure drivers are running this track a little bit more safer, you know, when it comes to short tracks and half a mile, 1.5 miles, 2 miles, you know, you get gutsy and you want to do some moves. But with these type of tracks, you know, you kind of just choose your pace. If you're running 214s, you're going to be with people who run 214s. If you're running 210s, you're probably going to stick with people who run 210s. Disclaimer real quick, the track right here, you're going to be wanting to run 130, in the 130 range to 140. I was giving some Road America times. If you're running 240 on this track, you need a lot of more practice.
If you're in last place and you're running a fast lap time, then your driving skills are
Need to be improved.
yes.
Just leave it. You know, just don't even insult. Just say, need to be improved.
As we hopefully can get some more fan-suggested questions in the chat.
You know what? That reminds me of a really good story of when I first got interested in this sport. You guys remember like what Blockbuster existed?
Time with
And,
Chris.
like, yeah, a little story time. Remember in the Blockbuster and like Family Video existed? Instead
Yes.
of buying like movie of like Garfield animated and stuff, I would get a rental video game. And the very first rental video game I picked up was NASCAR 2011. And I'll tell you what, I thought I was the best driver in the world. And just a couple weeks ago, I pulled the game out and I put it in there. I just wanted to see, you know, how good was I? Turns out my best finish was 39th. out of 43 drivers. Sorry, kids, nostalgia can hurt sometimes when you look at the statistics. And just to see really how bad I was, I decided to do a race with very hard difficulty at Sonoma. Ironic that we're at Sonoma right now. That's what brought it up. And because we were talking about fixing lap times, and within only the opening lap of Sonoma, I was able to get a 20-second lead upon the AI, so it was pretty bad back then. But I'm sure every kid is, I hear the stories about everyone, because, when you're a kid, you're not there for the lap times, you're there for the big, spectacular wrecks.
Yes.
And I can tell you, I've caused many.
Introducing NASCAR Heat 4 online mode.
I thought it was just Battle Royale.
Yeah. But that is something new that they're going to be adding to next year's game, the DNFs. But I think they're really moving that more towards career mode.
Campaign.
As we got a car just sitting there on the edge of the wall.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what Heat 5 is going to do. I see, the monster's getting to you now. I'm going to bring that up all night. Well, you're laughing, Arkham. Let's get us into the joke here. It's kind of a slow race right now.
Because I swore I heard Slide Job what happened as he's leading the track in the background of Bark's communicational device.
Jeez, Arkham. Should call you alien boss. Communicational device? That's a KBG spy right there.
Yes, this is my communicational device. I use it to talk to friend. I am not spy. What makes you think I'm spy?
So good. So I guess
our race commentator Bark is giving us really, really good tips. I hope one day he'll join us on stream and help move things along. This isn't very action-filled race. Not like what you're going to see with the Monster series. I'm sure they'll definitely give you a lot more action. Trucks has been feeding tons of action. Yeah, this is not an important race. Well, it is, but it's going to be a little slow. Yeah, that's the big thing with the sport, which for many new fans, it can be very hard to get into the sport.
As the pace car seems to be jiggling back and forth on the wall here as 88 goes around the final turn before going into another round. There he goes.
Hey, we're looking for something. Anything. Ooh, we do have a car lost on the wall right behind Slide Job. I think it was the number 12. Yes, General Twinkie, he has lost it doing that at corner. I think it could quite possibly be he didn't let off enough. And probably slammed on his brakes, losing all traction.
2 to go for the final, second stage. Pit road is now closed.
We have 95 off the track again. Carousel section can get many drivers. It's just you sure hope it doesn't get you at that important time.
Yes.
And looks like 95 is trying to hold off getting passed by the 25, and it just so happened to be that he would go straight off the track, unfortunately.
And Slide Job comes around the final turn like he has all race in the lead. This time not with a paddle. He's clear sailing. As this is 1 to go in stage 2.
Where you had an incident, it is a 2 to go. Kind of hard. You got to sit there with your little tally board. Missed the mark.
Chris, I'm glad this is not a game of checkers.
Why, are you not good at checkers?
Because the tally mark has came back to bite me. 2 to go with Slide Job in the lead at Sonoma.
We have a little battle. Well, not a battle, but actually just trying to pass right now. 25 is trying to pass, I think, a lapped car up ahead, and he succeeded right when I started talking. But we'll stick around here to see if the lap cars actually try to fight back and get their lap back, as General Twinkie doesn't want to back away. He's holding on to the 25's rear bumper, as the 95 goes straight off the rumble strips into the wall.
Not on my screen, he's still running. Nismo getting a little loose in the turns here. As Nilla, one of our drivers, he hasn't had a win yet, but he would sure like one.
Everyone wants a win.
Past tracks. Meanwhile, we got the Price is Right. Price is Right. In the can't quite see that car number. Hold on.
So just got word from a few of our drivers, especially our leader. Our leader is running an average of a 134 as his lap time.
That's
I run
extremely
139s.
fast.
Yeah. It tells me I need to work.
Meanwhile, Bark is going to have the world's longest record of lap times, as he is our pace car driver tonight. As I believe they are on the
Alright, so if you're just wondering what kind of times the pace driver puts up, his best lap is 2:25, and that was when he was required to go around the track. Hopefully, maybe he can pull out on the track and maybe see what his current lap time is. That would be interesting to see. I'm sure it'll go down in the record books as a good lap time. How would you guess, Arca? Maybe 40-minute lap time, 30-minute lap time?
something of that nature. As we should get back out to the leader here, as I believe
Slide Job has taken the stage. His car
Yes,
is
sir.
slowing down. It is the end of the stage.
End of the stage. Slide Job, your winner.
I'm going to go look at the driver that's just barely sneaked away with another lap away from the Slide Job. I think it was the 89 of Price is Right. Slide Job is right in his rear. So the question is, can Price is Right get to the end of the track before the game says he's done? Doesn't look like he can. The game has forced him to slow down. He's, I don't know what you call that, a DNF for the stage or...
No, he technically finished the stage. This is going great, by the way.
All right, fans. Our drivers are approaching their final stage right now. It's probably going to be a mid-long race, and we've already got a car right into the wall. That looks like our pace car driver, so no big issue. Meanwhile, all the other cars are shooting right up the mountain, and we have already gotten number 6 dive bombing, and 8 losing it. So it looks like the first turn was a little bit squirrely. So far, no big actual action, though. That will put a driver out of the race.
And the 88 getting a little loose. As he has a
Ooh, we got a
pack
car
of
dive
wolves
bombing, number
coming.
14.
Odd. Getting a little aggressive here.
Keep it up like that, I might get aggressive. I don't like the sound of that. They're getting single file. A train is forming. We'll see if maybe the train will actually have